Morning, PSWs and friends across Ontario and Canada. Welcome to PSW Podcast. My name is Miranda Romanowicz. I'm the CEO of the Ontario PSW Association and host of PSW Podcast, where we come to you guys live every single Friday with either some great partners, stakeholders, or talking about the truth of what is actually occurring frontline in Ontario healthcare. I'm yet again joined by my co-host, Ian DaSilva, who's the Chief Operating Officer of both associations as well. So over the last week, Ian, we have put out some heavy hitting posts regarding bullying in the workplace for PSWs. Now, this is not something new that we've done at OPSWA. We've been talking about this many times on PSW podcast, and we also did a survey. And this survey definitely has shown some concerning numbers from what the PSWs told us. So because PSWs, you guys told us all these stories and there was all this conversation around the bullying in workplaces, we did the survey because we wanted you to have a voice and we wanted you to tell us really what was going on in your workplaces across Ontario. And oh boy, did you guys ever tell us what was going on in your workplaces across Ontario?
We're not sorry we asked.
Yeah, we're not sorry we asked, but oh my gosh, our hearts are with you and our thoughts are with you. It's a sad situation. So the biggest question that was asked was, have you ever witnessed or personally experienced bullying while working as a PSW? A resounding 97.7% of the respondents said yes.
97% have either been the victim of bullying or have seen bullying or can witness it. So basically, bullying is everywhere based on that survey in long-term care. This is not just long-term care. This is retirement home in all settings, right?
Everywhere, absolutely.
Everywhere.
It's absolutely everywhere.
We're not picking on us. This transcends sectoral employment. So it's a cultural thing. This is something that exists that's entrenched in the healthcare system. It seems to be entrenched and tolerated, which is the more scary thing. So
exactly. But the next part to this survey that really concerned me, Ian, was when they were asked about, and I have the whole report here, and you guys can find it on our Facebook page, and we sent it out in our email marketing yesterday to everyone. How common is bullying was the second question, and it was 64% of respondents reported that bullying is either consistent or frequent in their job places, their workplace.
it's a lot.
It's healthcare. Like, and a lot of these, and I'll get into it in a minute before I go on my rant, as I per usually do.
Well,
But but I mean, the next one was, how safe do you feel reporting this bullying? 66.5% of respondents reported feeling unsafe or very unsafe reporting bullying incidents.
yeah, I believe it. It's the culture of fear. It hasn't gone anywhere.
No,
Nope.
no.
And that's how, and in the last week, just the memberships we've had alone telling us the anecdotal report saying certain people in the home are telling you not to report things. There's a culture of non-reporting, which is not really a bullying thing, but it's an abusive element if you're not reporting.
Very abusive, because if someone is being bullied and there's no outlet and there's no way for them to actually communicate this to stop the bullying, how do you stop it? And Ian, we've been asked that a lot
Yeah.
over the past few days, is how do you stop it? What is the association doing about it? We're doing it.
We're trying.
We're trying, by us talking about this, by us doing surveys about this, by us putting this out there into the universe on social media, talking about it with MPPs, really pushing this forward. This is where change starts.
Yeah.
Because eventually it becomes a movement. And that movement is where the change will happen. This is systemic. This is cultural. This is in the system. This is something that's been going on for so long that it's a hard thing to stop. Now, mind you, it just makes me sick. I mean, I'm just being honest.
Because it's not compatible with when you're trying to put when you're dealing with a patient-focused delivery model. It's not compatible, and we have a hierarchical system which puts the patient at the bottom of the hierarchy, and the PSW basically trying to defend the patient and dealing with the entire system's problem seems to be on their shoulders, and they get all the abuse. They're also not. They'd also told if something happens because of all the decisions that were made before you, and it's an error, you don't report it.
Or it's your fault.
And then
Or what could you have done
or
differently?
they do. They're like, I'm going to be ethical. I have to report it, and then suddenly they're being nitpicked on their reports. You didn't fold this paper thing, the incontinence pad properly. You misfiled something. We're writing you up, and then you're terminated. That's pandemic in hell. We see this all the time. Abuse of power. That's the type of bullying. But sorry, I'm off topic a little bit. But no.
No, but that's
So
it's
yeah,
not
but
off
it's part of
topic.
it. It's part
It
of it,
is.
right?
It's a huge part of it. Like I said, like there was a video that went out the other day about where I said it's middle management. I mean, Ian, you and I, and it's not all middle management, but
No.
from what we're hearing from PSWs is there's a kind of a three part, and it even says it in the survey, is who bullies the most, like who are the issues in your workplace,
Yeah.
and it boils down to middle management and coworkers and union stewards seem to be a
Yes.
huge proportion of this.
Surprising. Yeah.
And and so like you asked a really good question the other day to me, Ian. We were discussing this, and you said, why do PSWs attack other PSWs? Like, why is this happening? Why is this bullying happening? Because that is the core root right there. And you had a very interesting response if you remember what you said. I remember what you said. So I'll say what you said. So what the way you broke it down was PSWs are constantly being treated like they're doing something wrong. They're being set up to fail when they're in the workplace. They're not being given the tools that they need in order to do the job to the best of their abilities. Nothing that they ever do is good enough. They're constantly asked, what could you have done better? And blamed for things that are not their fault. So therefore, when you put really insecure people into that situation, certain people turn into bullies because they
Uh-huh.
want to try to maintain some form of power and some form of control. And now I'm not giving that as an excuse to these individuals. It's definitely not an excuse. There's no excuse for bullying. However, it is a reason. And so, when you look at the issues in the PSW world, the absolute hell these PSWs have gone through, especially over the course of the last 6 years with COVID, and suddenly we're bringing in other titles, and things are changing. They're supposed to be changing for the better, but we're not seeing that one iota anywhere in the system. Um, it's I don't want to say understandable because I don't understand becoming a bully because I'm not a bully. So I don't understand how that works in someone's brain, but I can understand the desperation to have some sort of clout,
Well,
some sort of importance.
we experience this. I think you'll find this in a lot of environments, not every environment, of course, but where you have union stewards that have become aligned with management. This is where you become a real issue for bullying because if you're reporting that to the steward who is very friendly with the management team, you're not going to get any support because that manager and that union steward are tight as thieves. It becomes embarrassing for the steward, and they don't realize this, is that the management's using the steward to do their job for you. And by making you feel like you're a manager and part of the management class, you're looking like a fool. Sorry, you're looking like an idiot because you're basically supporting bad behavior because you want to protect your friendship. And as a steward, this is not all stewards, but we see this a lot. Stewards are a problem. They collude with management. The PSWs have no support because they go to the steward. The steward's like, well, we can't do anything because we agree with management. What's the point of having you there?
Ian,
What's
you've
the
been in
point?
those conversations.
All the
We've
time.
had OPSWA members that obviously come to the
Yeah,
association because if you can't rely on your union,
they
then you
can't.
guys come to us.
No, they
And
can't because the
so
union
we've both been
ignores
privy
them.
to that. Yeah, I
Union
know.
ignores them, says, we'll take your money. Yes, we'll absolutely take your money, but we are not going to be supporting you in your labor issue. And we're more than happy to back a termination insofar as that doesn't mean we have to outlay any resources to support our member. It's that simple. So we get this all the time, and I'm speaking from a position of some authority on this. Yeah, I mean, if you're in a situation where your union steward is very close with your management team, you need to connect with your union and vote that steward out because they are not going to help you, or try to run against them because that's the only way you're going to get change in some of these environments. Because
Hmm.
right now it's locked in there. So that's a huge contributing factor to the tolerance of bullying and long-term care is the perception of creating micro hierarchies within the front line. And we end up with this dysfunctional system.
It's crazy, right? Because we always say, become a personal support worker because we care for society's most vulnerable. And yet what is occurring in these homes of the vulnerable, it's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's immoral and it's unacceptable. And the fact that the minister and others like to close their eyes to this issue and just focus on building more long-term care homes.
Well, it's the hierarchy. It's the whole thing. We look at it from the top down, like they look at it from the top down. You have a nurse who's playing minister who decides that she's now suddenly a minister, so she's going to look top down on everything. But she won't be a minister forever. She'll be a nurse again. So what is the point of that's just one example, for example, of this. There is no interest in the
Opportunity missed, but also opportunity missed. An
opportunity.
opportunity missed in order to, she understands it, she gets it. you know
She's not
why
interested.
not have brought people, well, I mean, I would have been different, but why not bring people together and change the hierarchy and create a really, positive experience, so because it all trickles down, like you said, to the resident or to the patient, and everyone seems to forget about these
Well,
people.
Miranda, is the goal of the minister to actually run the department or to create a social profile to become an influencer? One is confused at this point.
One is very confused at this point,
So I mean, at this
absolutely.
point, I stand by that. There is very little action. We're seeing this abuse. We're essentially in a situation now. We're looking at long-term care where this is still prevalent. Don't kid yourself; it's very prevalent.
Well, on the survey, they were asked
Yeah,
where
it's
they
on the
work,
surface.
and it was primarily long-term care.
So let's flip this into the patient. What were we discussing? How do we see this? The patient is essentially now housed in a dysfunctional family house. That's what it appears to be. So you're putting your old person in long-term care is in this place where there's all this abuse, there's infighting, there's no accountability. Um,
Drama, the
there's
drama.
drama. They can't, if the patient is sick or needs abuse or is abused, they can't report it because of the drama within that family, your family team unit. It's ridiculous. So
Really,
no,
really is.
we need
And
to draw attention on this more and put more pressure on the stakeholders that are running these facilities to take bullying seriously because this is killing our system.
they need to become champions. They
Absolutely.
need to become champions of the front line, what I call PSWs in
It's
Ontario.
it's patient care champions. We don't have any
Well,
patient care
no,
champions in
that's what I
government.
mean
Yeah,
is
I know
if
you
they
meant that.
support the
Sorry.
PSWs, if they
Yeah,
support the PSWs then can actually do their damn job and
yeah.
support those that are in their care, because that is the core focus of the personal support worker is bedside nursing. That's what we do. We own personal care. That's what, no one else does it.
Well,
The
they also make,
PSWs.
but that's where they make long-term care, like we call them long-term care facilities, but these are people's homes. It's reinforced all the time. This is someone's home. Yet, why would you want to live in a place like this?
Well, you don't. Like my parents have said point blank, don't put me in a home.
No
I'm not
one.
putting them in a home. I don't want to be
No.
put in a home. It's my daughter who's going into PSW in September has already said, I am never putting anyone in a home. Now,
No.
mind you, we have visited some really nice and great long-term care homes, but unfortunately, there are far and few between.
We're
For
gonna bring that.
every
I want to bring that home on though, because that home we went to,
Burton Manor,
Green Manor. Wow, what a great
yeah.
facility.
Oh, Burton
We're,
Manor
we're, we're
was
switching a little
phenomenal.
bit. Yeah, there's bullying,
Yeah.
but when a management team and the collective bargaining teams work together and are not antagonistic and actually realize that we can solve some of these problems, I don't know. It was
Phenomenal. But we see that. We see
phenomenal.
that with Golden Years up in Timmins. We see that with Burton Manor in Brampton. Like there are long-term care homes that take every single person that works there seriously and respects them for the job that they do. And they don't allow inner bullying. They don't allow any of that stuff because the DOC is directly involved with the staff, which is what
Exactly.
we saw at Burton Manor. I mean, you could just tell there's a hierarchy as there is everywhere in healthcare, but that hierarchy was respected and the PSWs were very much respected.
If I
So
can, but the hierarchy did not talk down
no,
to PSWs. And I've been to other homes, and you walk into certain facilities, and you're like, oh, you can tell by the staff this is not a happy place just by the looking on their face. We walked into Burton. There's a home up in Lindsay we went to. Oh, I can't remember the name. Can't remember. You walk in there, the energy's amazing. The staff are happy. You're like, okay, this is what we want in long-term care. This is what we want in our retirement home settings and in all of our public settings. And you walk into others, the ones that we're hearing about. It's like, oh my God in heaven.
We walked into a few, Ian, or we've been invited to go into a few, and then we've noped out of it at the end of the day because, frankly, I'm not there for the executives. We're there for the personal support workers.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, yeah,
Oh,
which is so ridiculous.
oh yeah, and
Um,
ridiculous.
I
Um,
think one of the biggest points of long-term care and the bullying that's happening there is we need ratios. I mean, going back to that same conversation that I've been saying for like 16 plus years is we need ratios in long-term care homes. Stop with this BS of 4 hours of care per resident in long-term care, which by the way, I still don't understand what the hell that means. I don't really get it because no one really gets it because it doesn't make any damn sense. If you want 4 hours of care per resident in long-term care per day, then what you need to do is get a ratio in there. You get a ratio of one PSW to 6 residents, they're flying. They're flying. And it's doable because other homes are bloody doing it.
Everyone's doing it. They do it in America, in the States. A system, an American system, which we always abhor,
Yeah.
has better delivery in this regard when it comes to ratios. We've approached the Ontario government with this. The answer is a firm absolutely not. We do not want ratios. Everyone in Ontario, the patients, unions, professional associations, uh, I can't speak on behalf of the family residence councils. I don't know what I don't know what I'm assuming they do too. Everyone needs ratios. You need to have a certain number of people. The people who don't want it are the people that pay for the system that are running it. And I don't need to tell you who those are.
Well, it's very true. It's very, very true because with ratios would come better care. The PSWs would be given what they need in order to do their jobs effectively,
But
and therefore everything would be operating like a well-oiled machine.
but it will reduce your
That's why
profit
they don't want
margins.
that.
But it
What's
will
that?
reduce your profit margin. If you have to hire additional staff, more full-time staff, that means your return on investment for the private home care, private long-term care providers, that impacts your return on investment and your shareholder dividends. That's intolerable for
Oh,
these individuals. That the dividend payments and this return on investment for companies, I'm not going to name them, that is what runs the system. Ratios take secondary. Patient care is not a concern. It is simply about generating revenue. So yeah, it's a good system. What can we do to fix it? So there's got to be things. I mean,
so I'm going
association.
to say, well, the association, like I said, the way that we are fighting this bullying, this is our first step. The first step was to start talking about it because no one was talking about it. Number one. Number two, this and recognize that this is a problem. I was almost emotional last night reading some of the comments that were put on our Facebook. I got goosebumps talking about it
Yeah,
because
actually,
these were PSWs that they were so thankful to us for actually saying something about it. And now I do get some of you that say, well, what are you going to do about it? I get it.
what are we
I
going to do?
get it.
That's
There's nothing, listen,
we're
it's
doing our
not
best.
just
I
us.
know.
You guys have to understand that the association, yes, we've moved many mountains as the association for PSWs. Those of you that have been following us for a long time knows that these things take time. But like I said in the beginning of this is how we're starting to enact that change is talking about it. We're not keeping it as Ontario's dirty little secret anymore. It is now out in the open and we are saying enough is enough. Bullying needs to be recognized as an issue in long-term care. It is creating retention issues. It is creating mental health issues, stress and burnout. Residents are not getting the proper care in these homes. This is a huge issue that is really, I think, kind of more fixable than putting in ratios at this point.
And just for the record, so the OPSWA has partnered. We worked with Metropolitan University on the improving psychological safety in long-term care. So this was a thing. Now, this is not just, I know we're PSW focused, but this is not just PSWs that get abused.
Oh no.
It's also nurses, because the
Yep.
nurses have the same issue, and
Yeah, the
doctors
nurses
get
do.
abused. So the entire
Doctors.
system, like, and we were part of that. They did some amazing work there. There's toolkits and best part, the BPO, the RNAO BPO um, guidelines are some of those homes I'm sure are okay. But when it comes to bullying, this transcends the entire area. This is not just
This
PSW.
transcends. It transcends
So,
like crazy.
but we feel because we spend most of our time with the patient that we're the ones kind of defending them and having to answer for things because you have to speak to the patient and explain to them why this isn't happening. And then how do you balance that right if that patient has a preference that you're not able to provide? Like, what's the situation if I'm a PSW and I'm told I have to move someone wants to get out of bed? Um, but I need a two-person lift. I'm the only person there. Do I risk it? Because if I don't risk it, then I'm not violating the preference. We're dealing with something similar with this right now, actually. So,
Yeah, we are. We absolutely dealing with that. And we're dealing with it all the time. And like I said, I think what needs to happen is CEOs and owners of these homes, if you and a lot of them do truly care, or at least say it to our faces, I believe them. They don't seem to be the issue. The issue, it does seem to be middle management, and they need to get the hell off their high horses and realize that they have a very important role to play. And that role is not bullying your staff or trying to keep your policies and procedures perfect, or what your job is to support the front line so that they can support those in their care. That is your core job. And if
you're
you
right.
are taking advantage of that, and you are, and don't even tell me you're stressed out, okay? Don't.
Don't,
PSWs on the
don't,
floor are
don't
far
start
more
with that.
stressed out
Don't
than
give
the
me that.
than the office managers. Don't
Don't
even
give,
give me that,
don't give us
because
that.
you guys can go and sit down for hours at a time to do paperwork. The PSWs are up on their feet for the entire shift and then some. And they have a unattainable goal
Yeah.
that they'll never reach when they are doing their jobs. So as middle management, you need to be better. And
Oh,
yes, I just called you out. You need to
okay.
be better.
Now, the other side of it, though, middle management, because I was middle management once, and it's a can be
Yeah, it's a bad place, not
your
easy.
boss is telling you, I don't want to spend any money. We have it, but I'm not spending any money on stuff. You better figure that out. And so you're now in a situation where you're like, I have to make bricks without sand. I don't know what am I gonna do? So that goes back up to the culture though. So, but middle managers have to stop. Like, I think the issue is that they don't listen, and I think there's that issue is that they don't want to deal with it.
No.
So,
Everyone
but
is
how do we?
burnt out.
But
Everyone
I
is
think
burnt out. I get
everyone's
it.
burnt out. But I think what we need to do is start tracking it. We have this nebulous concept of bullying in long-term care, in retirement homes, in healthcare. How do we track it? Do we set up a database where people report it, and then we start pinpointing it on maps, and wherever we have the most pins, we send a team in to do re-education?
It's a very possible thing
I
without
don't
getting
know.
paid.
I'm at a
And
loss. Like,
and say too, I used to be middle management. I was a care coordinator for a long time, and I understand the frustrations and the difficulties. But I will tell you one thing, that you're better off working closer with the frontline staff, because they will be the ones that if you treat them well, they will treat you well. If you do not treat them well, they will not treat you well. And I saw that quite clearly, because whenever I used to call any of my PSWs to take a shift for me, they would take a shift, no questions asked. They absolutely would. Whereas everyone else that I worked with couldn't get them to come in. So it's about camaraderie, it's about respect and recognition of the important role that the frontline healthcare play. But not just them, but also middle management does play an important role. However, it's right now it's like a 70-30, 70% issues, 30% are doing fantastic. I've seen
well,
some awesome middle management, but
we
for the most part, the complaints are middle management.
yeah, but I've also noticed that a lot of the middle managers that are amazing that understand the PSWs were actually once PSWs.
Yeah, that's a huge portion of it too.
So like
Absolutely.
we've noticed the person, some of them were like, oh, I used to be a PSW, so I get what it's like being on the floor. And I need to treat my team the way I want it to be treated. Whereas you have, and this, I'm going to speak for myself, someone who is educated outside the healthcare system coming into healthcare from a business point of view, your mentality is different. Your sympathies are different. So you need to make sure that the managers and the schedulers and all those people on team are actually healthcare workers trained
Yeah.
after and trained to do the job after. Bringing in a human resource specialist with all the bells and whistles to do a healthcare management job, they're going to run that facility like a facility, not a home. It'll be cold, clean. There'll be absolute no tolerance. It's why you have abuse.
It's one of the biggest reasons why we have
Humid
abuse.
environment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, so stay tuned with the association over the course of the next few months. We are going to be putting out some more information on this survey that we did. Like I said, if you want to see the survey, it's on our Facebook group, Facebook page currently right now. I believe we just might be putting it on the front page of our website. I'm not sure when, so probably by next week. It was an interesting survey, but I do want to say, to every single personal support worker that did fill out that survey and did come forward with your stories and your concerns and your opinions on our Facebook page and our Instagram, thank you. It
Yeah,
takes a lot. for you guys to tell us, especially in so much depth. But I just wanted to let you guys know that we do see you. We do watch what you guys do. We do notice the big issues. And I know a lot of times you guys don't know what we're doing because everything happens on the back end. But we're watching you guys because we need you to tell us where the issue is. And apparently, the issue is big time in bullying. So we will be escalating this. However, the government's on a 5 month hiatus right now. So we'll be targeting this more so come October,
Well, I think
politically.
this, I would like to envision this as the beginning of the series of these webinars on podcasts on this, because we want to talk. I think the next thing is talking about solutions, but also, and what are the long-term impacts of constant bullying? We've had people have had physiological damage to their neural structures due to this. So this is not a light topic. This is really a big issue, and I think it's one of the foundational issues that we have to deal with at the association, and it ties into so many other things.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But I want everyone to know, especially our members, we do have one-on-one counseling available at a discount for you guys. It can be done over the phone, it can be done over Zoom. And it's actually done with a fellow PSW who is trained in mental health. So you have someone who understands already where you're coming from, which I think helps big time when it comes to therapy. And you guys also have us. So, we are not unreachable at the association. If you truly need to talk to someone at the association as to what's going on, we invite you to reach out to us, but don't expect an immediate response just because we get a lot of emails and phone calls in a week, but we will do our absolute best to get back to you. Yeah, this has been a heavy, heavy, heavy PSW podcast.
Yeah.
But I will say this, stay strong. What you guys do on Ontario's healthcare on the front line is nothing short of miraculous on the daily. It's not an easy job. No matter which way anyone tries to spin it, it is not an easy job, and nor are you replaceable as a personal support worker. Um, have faith in us. We're still fighting the good fight behind the scenes, but just keep your heads up. Know that you have the association. The association does have your back. Our job is to protect the PSW. So obviously, very much so, we have your back. We'll be back again next week. I believe I'm talking with education for the Professional Development Center for OPSWA, so that should be interesting. But then the following week, we'll be continuing with this again with another bullying podcast. So if you have questions or concerns, or if you want us to bring up certain things or research things, please make sure to email us. All information is here in our profile here on Facebook, and of course our profile on TikTok, where we're streaming live currently right now. And you can reach out to us. We would absolutely love to hear from you. Ian?
Just some updates from the association. We're constantly adding new PSW members to our locator map, so please have a look if you're looking for certified, verified individuals. And if you're not a member of the association, please consider joining. We are stronger together, and we can start building change, continue building change, rather.
Yeah, we've kind of been doing it for a while.
Oh, but for a while, yeah, we've been
It's
trying.
only for a while. No, anyway, so I'm to echo what Ian said. If you're not a member yet, make sure to get on it. It is tax deductible. If you're not a member, you're not protected. So make sure you guys get on that. I hope you all have a beautiful, lovely weekend. And we'll be back again next week. So if you want any information on the association, hit our profiles, Facebook or TikTok. The link tree is there. Check us out.
Oh,
Thanks so much for joining us. Yeah,
one
we
more
have a
thing.
question.
Not a question. Happy Canada Day, because we won't be on before the next Canada Day.
Oh yeah, pre-happy Canada Day, guys. We will be closed Canada Day, but we'll be back again next Friday with
Yes, we will.
PSW Podcast. Thanks so much, you guys. Thank you, Ian.
All right.
All right. And with
Bye.
that, we say OPSWA
Awesome.
out.